Okay guys, so let's continue from where we stopped in the last video. Okay, we're looking at list method. So we've discussed about a couple of different methods. So if you've not seen the previous video, go ahead and see it before you come to this. Okay, I'll put the link in the description below. So in this video we'll continue with some other methods we've not seen. So first I'm going to look at the extend method. So for the extend method to actually make sense, I'll have another list. I'll call that numbers 2, and this is going to be having some other items. Okay, so I have numbers, and then I have numbers 2. So what I want to do is I want to combine these two. For you to combine these two lists, there are different ways you can do that. You can go ahead and say number plus numbers plus numbers 2. This is going to add these two lists. Okay, it's going to concatenate them basically. So it's concatenating them, but the only thing is we have to save the result somewhere. So I can say new, or let's call it combined numbers. I think that will make sense. Combined numbers. So I'll save it in combined numbers. So now I have a new list called combined numbers. Okay, but what if my interest is to combine these two lists, but I don't want to create a third list? Okay, I want to combine these two, but I don't want to create a third list. In that kind of situation, what I have to do is to use the extend. So if I want to use the extend, this is how it works. So I can say numbers dot extend numbers, or number 2. So what's happening here is this. If you notice, it is numbers that is calling on the extend method. So this extend is being associated to the numbers because that's where the dot operator is. So what this is going to do, the extend is still a mutator. It's going to concatenate the items of numbers 2 to numbers, but the final result is going to be in numbers. So unlike this where we added these two, concatenated them, and saved the result in a new variable or a new object, that's not what we are going to do here. So what this one is doing is this: it will combine these two and give the result to numbers. Okay, so it is done in place. So if I run this and then I check what numbers is right now, you see that it has combined the result. But if I want it the other way around, right now if you check for what numbers 2 is, you see that you have just this. But when you say something like numbers 2 dot extend, so I can say I want to extend. So you can basically use it to add too many items to a list. I want to add these items to that list. Okay, to numbers 2. So if I check what numbers 2 is right now, you see that I've added new terms or new items to numbers 2. So that's one other method we have. So let's see another one. So let's see numbers dots. What else do we have there that we've not seen? Okay, now we've talked about pop in the last video. Let's talk about the remove. So what remove does, unlike pop, for pop, if you don't give it an argument, we say it will remove the last item. If you give it an argument, we remove what is in that position. For the remove, what it does is this: it takes the item you actually want to remove. So if I want to remove 7, I'll give it 7. Okay, so it's going to look for where 7 is. It's going to take away 7. That's what we are going to do. That's what will happen here. So if I check for what numbers is now, you'll notice that 7 is no longer there. If I want to remove -10, I'll simply say numbers dot remove -10. Okay, and that's going to take away -10. So if I check for what numbers is now, -10 is not there. But what do you think will happen if we try to remove what is not in the list? So I can say remove 100, and it will give me an error. It's saying X is not in the list. So take notes that when you try to remove an item that is not in the list, it's going to give you an error. So you have to make sure that the item is in the list before you try to remove it. Okay, so that's what we have for numbers. And then we have another, which one haven't we seen? Copy, clear. We are going to come to that later. We've seen insert, we've seen reverse. Now let's see sort. So what sort basically does is it will sort your item. It's going to in place sort the list you have there, but it's doing it in place. So if I say sort and I check for what numbers is, you can see that it has been sorted as opposed to what you have in numbers here. This is what we have initially, and now this is what we have. So that's what we have. So this is smallest item, but possibly you want to sort a particular list and you don't want it to be in increasing order of magnitude. So there are two things you could do. You can sort it. After sorting, then you reverse it. That will work. Okay, you must have guessed that. You sort and then you reverse, but that's a long process. Instead of going through this, why don't you just do it using a particular function? So let's assume you want to sort this. I can just use a single function to sort this, and that function, I'm still going to use sorts, sorry, but now I'm going to give it a keyword argument. So I'll say reversed, okay, equal true. So I'm saying sort this thing, but sort it in a reverse order. And now if I check for what numbers 2 is, you can see it has been sorted in a reverse order. So take note, reverse equal true should be sent in so that it will be sorted in the reverse order. Okay, now the reverse also take one other argument. The sort rather takes one other argument, another keyword argument. It's called key actually. Okay, so the key is more like the sorting function. What do you want to use in what, and what do you want to use as a criteria in sorting this particular function? But we can't discuss that right now because it depends on functions. Okay, I'm going to show you. Okay, I think I can show you a few, but if you want to create your own custom function, then you can't use it. We have to wait until we've talked about function before we can look at that. So let's create a list of names. So let's say I have a list of names, George, I have Smith, I have let's have Mimi, and I have Delzy. So I have this list of names and I want to sort them. So I can say names dot sorts, and it's going to automatically sort the names for me, and this is what I have. It has been sorted. But if I don't want to sort according to this structure, this is based on your alphabetical order. So D is smaller than, is less than G and the rest. But what if I want to sort in terms of length? So I can give it my own function. So I can give it a key. I can say, okay, sort this, but use a key. The key should be the length. So I'm giving it the length. So it's going to sort based on length, not the way it sorted the last time. So you say, okay, we have Mimi first because we have 4 characters. Next we have Delzy. Delzy is having how many characters? 5 characters. And next we have Smith, which is also 5 characters. And next we have George, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. That's because I told it to sort by names. Let me give you one more example. Let's call it items. I wonder why that is coming to my head. So I have 2 minus 12. Basically I have a couple of items this way. Let me not use minus 12 again. Minus 20. If I say items dot sort, as usual, this will sort it in increasing order of magnitude. But let's say I want to sort by the absolute value. I don't want to bother myself about this negative sign. Invariably, I want 2 to be the first. Next should be 3. Next, I have 13. Next, I have okay. Next should be 12. Then 13, and then 20, and 34 should be the last item. So in this kind of situation, I can sort. And then ask it to use the key, which is going to be absolute value. Absolute value is an inbuilt function. It takes an item and remove the negative sign. Invariably, it returns the absolute value of that item. So I can say sort by the absolute value. So if I do this now, and then I check for what items holds, what I'll get is it ignoring the sign and sorting it in ascending order of magnitude, okay, of absolute magnitude, I could put it that way. So you have 2, you have 3, yes, you have 12, yes, you have 13, yes, you have 20 and 34. It is not seeing a negative sign because we are sorting by the absolute value. So it's now you can also create your own custom function. That's your sorted criteria, but we've not treated functions yet, so we won't see how we can create our custom function yet. When we go into the section on functions, and then we can revisit this, and I'll show you how to create your own custom function and then work with. Now, apart from using the sort, everything we've used the sort for. The sort is a mutator, is modifying the original list, but you can actually use an inbuilt function which is called sorted. So sorted is going to do basically what sort has done, or what sort is doing, but the only difference is sorted is not modifying the original list. It is going to return a new list for you. Okay, so for instance, if I say sorted of items, it's automatically going to give me a new list. So it is returning something new for me. It has sorted this guy. So if I go ahead and check for what items is, you can see items remain the same. So sorted is going to do the work of sort, but it is returning. So if you want to sort a particular list, but you don't want to modify the original content of that list, you don't want to mutate that list, then it's better you use the sorted function instead of the sort function. Okay, now one other thing I forgot to mention is there's another way we can remove items from a list. We can use what they call the del, but that's not a method. Okay, it's just a keyword we can use. It works not just for lists. So I can say, okay, I want to delete, but yeah, you have to give it the item you want to delete itself. So I want to delete the this item -20, so that's -2, index of -2, -1, -2. So I can say I want to remove that item. So automatically the del function will take care of it for me, and if I check for what items is, you see that that item is gone. I've removed it. Okay, so that's what the del function does. But we have this other one we've not discussed about, this other item, this other method. That's the one that's clear. So what does clear do? What clear does is basically it wipes everything you have in the list. The list will still be in existence, but it will be an empty list. So if I say clear and then I check for what list is, you can see now that it is empty. But if you want to remove the list entirely, then you can guess by now that all you need to do is to delete. So now if I go ahead and check for what items is, sorry, a lovely way to spell items. So if I check for what items is now, you can see it has wipes everything I have there. Say names items is not defined. Okay, so I have an assignment for you guys. So check for what which one haven't we treated? Yeah, copy. I think that's the only one we've not treated here. Check for what copy does and see how you can use it. And then we're going to see one fun challenge after before the end of this module, possibly, and then we are going to see a question that will require us to use copy. Okay, so that's guys for this video. As usual, go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel, share these videos among your friends, tell them about my channel. It's a young channel, it's going, we still have a couple of new videos and the rest of that, but as usual guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.